for Iowa State, going with their alternate uniforms here today with gray on gray. A lighter shade as Suarez going to be jumping up into the middle, and it's Davis that'll win the opening tip. And great hustle there by Emily Ryan to deflect it out of bounds. And the Lions will start with the ball underneath their basket. Quick strike there by Davis on the tip, Molly.
Well, not too many jump balls that Iowa State will likely lose this year, having a 6'6" player jump. It's a Columbia team that will not be intimidated. They are 19-1 in their last 20 true road games. It's an experienced squad for Coach Griffith. They are scheduled in a challenging way in this season.
The starting five for Iowa State with Fritz, Ryan, Donarski, Jones, and Suarez. And Iowa State with a bucket right away.
And not surprising that Iowa State goes into Stephanie Suarez right from the get-go. Columbia does not have anyone taller than 6'1" on their entire roster. Iowa State should look to expose that, and exactly what we saw that first possession.
Henderson able to give the Lions the lead. Henderson from way down under Australia, averaging just over 12 per game. With Molly Parrott, BJ Shaban along with you as we're just getting started, and Suarez left all alone, and that's an easy dime for Emily Ryan.
Cyclones executing to perfection the first couple of possessions on the offensive end, catching Columbia and switching those screens. Iowa State takes full advantage with a couple of easy looks at the hoop.
Abby Shue lost control. Last touch by Iowa State, so the Lions will get it back. Take a look at this again with Shue trying to work the baseline. She is a dynamic player for the Lions.
Cyclones will not give her much breathing room. She's a very good shooter from beyond the arc.
Steal by Iowa State. That's Ryan who will go coast to coast. Iowa State able to double up Columbia here in the early goings. Donarski gonna lock in on Shue. That should be a pretty good matchup today. Very prolific, averaging over 14 a game inside to Henderson. The jumper by Davis left short. Henderson with the rebound, but will be tied up. And the possession arrow will give it to Iowa State.
This Columbia team will really hit the offensive glass, so the Cyclones will have to box out well. But that should lead to some leaking out opportunities. Should be able to get out on the break with the Lions crashing so hard on the offensive end.
And to the bench goes Columbia. Carly Riviera, who just got her first action the other night against Seton Hall, and Ashley Jones able to ring it up from the outside.
You mentioned Carly Riviera coming into the lineup just for the second game on the season. She's had a little bit of an injury nagging her. Coach Griffith calls her an extension of her. Another experienced player for this Columbia team.
Ryan working it up against Riviera. To the corner. That is Fritz. And the rebound tracked down by Shue.
Great step back move by Danae Fritz, able to free herself for that open look, just couldn't quite knock it down.
Davis' shot off the mark, and the rebound to Ryan. Fritz inside, Jones.
Cyclones getting high percentage looks, and they are converting, BJ.
They're shooting at a torrid pace here in the early goings as Iowa State right at 83% from the field. 5 of their first 6. And on an 8, making a 9-0 run, and now a timeout going to be called by Columbia. So that'll lead us to a timeout on the floor. Iowa State in the midst of a 9-0 run, up 11-3. That was nearly 12 years ago. Columbia, this is the 3rd ever matchup against the Big 12. As we take a look at the series history, it's just the 2nd overall meeting. And Columbia with some work to do behind some red-hot shooting by Iowa State. There's Fritz. That's off the mark. Ryan to Fritz with the bunny.
Emily Ryan just in complete command for Iowa State on the offensive end, already with 3 assists in this game.
Turnovers have been a problem this year, but not the 3 ball. That's knocked down by Hannah Pratt, the senior from Boca Raton, Florida.
She's having a nice senior year, coming off some injuries, has worked really hard to continue to develop her game. Nice to see that work pay off for someone who's certainly put her time in for Columbia.
To the game for Iowa State, Morgan Kane in for Suarez. Here's Donarski on the drive and finish. See the field goal numbers here early on. Donarski with the board here for Iowa State.
Abby Shue with the miss there. That does not happen very often. She had the 3rd most made 3-pointers in the entire country 1 year ago.
The school's all-time leader in the 3s. Kane going to be wrestled with, and the foul called on Caitlin Davis of Columbia. Pretty clean first quarter here so far as for fouls, as Columbia really working their bench. Coming into the game for Columbia is Abby Shue on the floor, with Kitty Henderson, Jada Patrick, Caitlin Davis, and Hannah Pratt, the starting 5 back out there. Iowa State will bring in Naimir Dew. She's joined by Kane, Ryan, Donarski, and Jones. Here's Jones on the drive. The charge is going to be called on Ashley Jones.
I thought Ashley Jones did a pretty good job of avoiding that defensive player straight on. Kind of one of those that I think could probably go either way. Just another reason why I don't want to be an official ever.
Never, ever.
Very much appreciate the work that they do.
Jacking a 3 is Davis, and she'll bury it. Boy, left alone on the wing, this Columbia team can shoot the 3. On the season, just above 37%.
Well, this Iowa State team, I mean, nationally, they are a program known for their 3-point shooting prowess. Columbia shoots it better percentage-wise. Iowa State shoots a lot of them.
A foul on the rebound going against Columbia. Kitty Henderson will pick up the foul. Scouting report on Davis. She's going to try it, let her. With some moderate defense there. 17 points, 12 rebounds for Davis against Seton Hall the other day, as they avenged a loss from the postseason from a year ago. Here's Dew. Good pump fake and the drive. Can't get it to fall, and the rebound to Pratt. Shue going to work. Or make that. Caitlin Davis will drive in on Suarez.
And that's why Iowa State will give up that 3-point look for Caitlin Davis. She is very smooth with the face to the basket. You have to pick your poison against a really good multi-talented player, and they're more comfortable with her shooting it from deep than they are doing what she just did.
Well, Columbia packing it in on Suarez on the block. Here's Jones for 3.
Suarez and Ashley Jones are such a great combination in the post. They can go high-low to each other. Ashley Jones can have room to work on the inside, or when Suarez is working on the inside, Ashley can do what she did there, step out. Very good from beyond the arc.
Yeah, there's another rebound here. Looks to lead it on the break. Dew for 3. Iowa State ringing up the 3 ball now. 3 of 5 from downtown. They extend their lead back to 10.
Cyclones not shooting it as well from beyond the arc as they'd like so far in the early goings of the season coming into the game. 32% as a squad, but like you mentioned, 3 out of 5 to start this game from beyond the arc.
This ball will go to Iowa State. Both teams to their bench. Checking in is Sienna Durr, the senior from Grinnell, Iowa for Columbia. And coming back into the game for Iowa State is Danae Fritz. See the turnover numbers here. Columbia with 3 to Iowa State's 1. Ryan with the nifty move. The kick out to Jones. Somebody's dialed in today, and her name is Ashley Jones. Emily Ryan with yet another assist.
9-0 run for Iowa State in the last minute, just over a minute. Ashley Jones now with 11 points, 4 of 4 from the field, including 3 of 3 from beyond the arc.
Henderson in the paint. Go to the Cyclones. 13-point lead, largest of the game here for Iowa State. 2:15 to play here in the opening quarter. Very quality team here for Columbia. Picked to finish second in the Ivy League behind Princeton. Ryan got free to Donarski. Dew with the kick out, and we'll reset things up.
Neimer Dew played really good basketball toward the end of last season, scored a career-high 15 points in Iowa State's Sweet 16 loss to Creighton. If she can come in off the bench and really contribute for Iowa State on the offensive end, that will be a nice added component for Iowa State. Of course, the Cyclones have Danae Fritz back after a medical redshirt a year ago, so those two players really keys for Iowa State as far as being those role players.
Caitlin Davis just picked up her second. She's on the bench. Coming into the game now is going to be Lillian Kennedy, a senior out of Buford, Georgia. And Henderson will rip down the rebound. Got a great screen from Durr, and Henderson will drive and finish. Durr walled off 2 Cyclones to allow the lane to be open. Now Ryan, her shot off the mark, and the rebound to the Lions. Foul going to be called here on Iowa State as Henderson hit the deck. Amir Dew will be called for the infraction. An 11-point lead here for Iowa State as Hannah Pratt comes back into the game for Sienna Durr. To the line with Kitty Henderson. Left it a little bit short.
Cyclones shooting 59% from the field the first 9 minutes of the game. If Coach Finley was worried about a bit of a trap game, he clearly had his team's attention. Very sharp this first quarter.
That's off of an 88-85 win the other night against Northern Iowa, in which Iowa State had to come from behind late in that game to win. Donarski, what a step back.
This Iowa State team is going to be really hard to beat if they can shoot at this type of clip from beyond the arc.
And the answer back on this end by Jada Patrick.
Jada Patrick played down at Duke for a couple of years before transferring to Columbia.
12 points the other night against Seton Hall. So the opening quarter, the closing seconds here. Iowa State with a 10-point lead, shooting really well from the field, 11 of 18. Add another triple. That's 6 here in the opening quarter.
And that's not bad defense for Columbia. Ashley Jones is just really feeling it, playing with a very high level of confidence. 5 of 5 from the field.
It's hit all 4 3-pointers she's taken. Shot clock is off. Carly Riviera at the point here for Columbia. Picked up her dribble now to Henderson, who works baseline. And the shot at the horn won't go down. So Iowa State, a sizzling opening quarter as they bury 6 3-pointers, led by Ashley Jones, who's got 14. Cyclones lead it 30-17.
She is not afraid of a challenge. They knew that they had a special opportunity this season, similar to Iowa State, with a lot of players, a lot of depth returning. She's really building this program for the long haul. As you can see on the graphic there, playing schools from the SEC, other power conferences. She knows that that's what they need to get ready for the Ivy League season, but then also hopefully postseason play again.
And one thing they build it on, good passing and great rebounding. And you see how they lead the Ivy League statistically through their first 4 games in those 2 categories. 13-point advantage. Here's Fritz. Shot clock winding down. Well, that was a circus shot, but it won't count as it hit the top of the backboard. Almost got the horse shot down. Now Shu will be at the point here for Columbia. Looking to drive it, left it short. Jones with the rebound.
First glimpse of Maggie Espen-Miller McGraw today for Iowa State, now in the lineup.
Jones, fake the step back, goes in strong with the right hand, draws contact, and will go to the line to shoot 2.
Ashley Jones so good at drawing fouls on opposing players.
And slow to get up was Hannah Pratt. Watch here as she got trucked.
She already took 1 charge against Ashley Jones earlier in this game. That one she does not get the call to go her way.
Jones now with 15. What more can you say about her? Of course, unreal career here at Iowa State. AP All-American, preseason Big 12 Player of the Year.
Ashley Jones and players from Columbia taking advantage of the COVID situation in different ways. We'll talk about that at some point. The approach at Columbia in the Ivy League and different than at Iowa State. Ashley Jones taking full advantage of the 5th year of eligibility.
And there's Abby Shu, her 109th 3-point field goal. Of course, that is a school record, and now she's called for the foul away from the ball as her and Donarski were jostling for position away from the ball.
Donarski and Shu getting tangled up a little bit.
Good acting.
Pretty good acting job there for Lexi Donarski. Might have stepped on Shu's shoe.
Jones with the baseline work. Fritz to Suarez.
Beautiful dump down pass by Danae Fritz. Stephanie Suarez working on those hands as she prepares to play at another level a year from now. One thing the coaching staff for Iowa State really trying to work on a few things with her that they think will really help prepare her for next level, and that would be catching the pass. You know, big step up from NAIA basketball. Physically, they feel really good about the progress she has made.
Terrific pickup in the offseason. This one off the mark by Jones. Suarez scoops it up. They go inside to Suarez. The baby hook, and it's down.
And Columbia's defenders will have to keep her, block that cut and try to keep her out of the lane as much as possible. If she's able to park in there that deep, she's going to catch and finish at a really high rate.
Suarez with 8 came into the game, shooting 55% from the field. Today, 4 of 4 as this rebounds battered around, and now a foul will be called on Lillian Kennedy. Got more subs coming into the game. Nicole Stevens into the contest for Columbia. Also checking back in Lillian Kennedy. Stevens joined on the floor by Davis, Henderson, and Shu. Here's a 3 by Jones. Can't get it to fall. And the rebound to Columbia. On the floor for Iowa State, it's Fritz, Dew, Suarez, Jones, Ryan. As Shu going to work on Jones in the paint. What a tough shot for Abby Shu.
Showing that she can do more than chuck it up from downtown. Iowa State is not going to give her much daylight at all. Top of the scouting report for Iowa State with Shu is don't let her shoot threes.
Fritz on the drive, can't get it to fall, but there's going to be a foul. And this is going to be registered against Nicole Stevens. That'll be her first.
Bit of a late whistle there. Danae Fritz will gladly step to the free throw line, try to convert here.
Fritz on the season right at 75%.
It's another good free throw shooting team for Iowa State this year. Squad shooting over 78%. Historically, Coach Finley team's very good at the free throw line. Not a surprise that they're very good again this year.
Fritz able to capitalize. Knocks them both down. Dene with 4. Henderson works baseline and the kick out. Davis in the paint. The step back, swatted away by Suarez. Leads the break for Iowa State. Up ahead to Ryan. Good get back there by Columbia. They'll dump it into Suarez, who's going to be fouled by Caitlin Davis, and that's going to be a big one. That's her 3rd.
Nice sequence there for Stephanie Suarez with the big block shot against the very talented Davis on the defensive end. Really sprints down the floor, beats everyone down there, works for that inside position, and it pays off.
Maggie Espen-Miller-McGraw back into the game. Also back in for Columbia is Sienna Durr. Suarez, 1 out of 2 from the line, now with 9. And Hannah Pratt will come back into the game. She'll check in for Lillian Kennedy. Cyclones lead it here by 17 with 6 minutes to play in the first half. Shu, the pull-up. She's starting to heat up. Now just 70, well, make it 37 points away from 1,000 in her career at Columbia. Dump down to Suarez. What a lead pass again from Ryan.
Six assists for Emily Ryan already in this game. I don't know that she'll get to her school record of 17 for a single game, but off to a really nice start. 6 assists, 0 turnovers for the junior.
4 rebounds as well, and a bucket.
She's just so steady out there. She's never going to wow you as the flashiest player on the floor or the most athletic, but man, she is smart. So calm and collected. If you go to an Iowa State practice, I swear she doesn't stop talking. I don't know if they've done a mic'd up segment on her, but they need to, because the kid is constantly chattering and encouraging her teammates.
This will stay with Iowa State, but will bring us to a timeout on the floor. 43-24, Iowa State continuing to shoot the ball well. 16 of 27 from the field, and they lead it by 19. Normally do when they're successful, and that's get after it on the glass. As you saw that rebounding margin, and today doing the same type of work.
Cyclones definitely pushed up at UNI a couple nights ago, but I would say the more challenging part of their non-conference schedule is ahead. They'll head to Portland later this week. They'll play Michigan State and then either North Carolina or Oregon. Both of the latter teams are ranked in the top 25. They'll go to Iowa the first week of December, and they will play against Villanova. So a lot of challenging games here in these next few weeks for Iowa State.
And an illegal screen going to be called on Iowa State. Morgan Kane will be called for the foul. Emily Ryan back into the lineup here for Iowa State. She'll check in for Maggie Espen-Miller-McGraw. And how about her stat line so far? 4 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. The march to a possible triple-double on the way for Ryan.
Well, she has 6 double-doubles in her career. She has never eclipsed double-digit rebounds. So we'll see. Keep an eye on that.
Paige Lauder into the game, and Lauder had that one swatted away by Suarez. Another block.
Good job moving her feet. Stays with the offensive player.
Three. Stevens can't get it to fall. Jones with the rebound. Benarski on the drive. Henderson cashes in from the outside. That's her second triple of the game.
Well, you might think that this Columbia team would want to slow the game down, maybe take the air out of the basketball a little bit, but they do not appear interested in doing that at all. They're very effective when scoring within the first 10 seconds or so of a shot clock. I think, in fact, that's their preferred form of offense, is to score quickly.
Shot clock winding down. Due for three. A little more up-tempo here from the Lions. The three by Lauder.
Well, this experienced squad is not going to back down, so if folks here in Hilton Coliseum thought that Iowa State got up big and the Lions were going to roll over, definitely do not expect that. Megan Griffith is a very fiery head coach, has extremely high expectations for her team, and they...
Nicole Stevens picks up the foul. That goes back to what you had mentioned earlier, Molly, about Columbia 19-1 in their last 20 games on the road. You don't do that unless you've got some leadership and experience. Jones able to can the free throw here.
And this game at Iowa State is very much about getting Sienna Durr, the Grinnell native, to play in her home state, but it's also not a coincidence that they wanted to play against a really good top 25, top 10 ranked program. That's the type of non-conference schedule that Coach Griffith wanted to build this season.
Another steal by Donarski. Jones off to a torrid start again. 18 points, 5 of 7 from the field. Hit her first 5 shots. Here's Fritz on the baseline.
Nice to see Danae Fritz use that up fake penetration all the way to the hoop. She has versatility. It seems as though the three-point shot is her default, maybe her favorite thing to do, but she's very good when a defender gets out in her face and she's forced to put the ball on the floor.
Anderson with the tough shot. Suarez with the rebound. Nearing the 2-minute mark to play here in the first half. Iowa State 17 makes from the field here today, which is good for about 57%. Ryan to Donarski to the corner. That's Fritz. You called it, and she nailed it.
Back-to-back baskets by number 3. Iowa State with a really nice response after Columbia had gone on a little bit of a run themselves. Cyclones now a 7-0 run in the last minute.
Stevens, the hard drive, and will go to the line. Columbia not backing down from Stephanie Suarez. As you see, Iowa State with some great ball movement here.
You mentioned Danae Fritz, back-to-back buckets, one with the penetration, one with the three-pointer.
Suarez with a couple of blocks, monster blocks that are highlight reel types. And you just saw a moment ago Nicole Stevens attack the paint. The junior from Pickerington, Ohio. And back to the bench goes Columbia. Jada Patrick will check back in.
Columbia looks like they're going to maybe play a little pressure defense in the backcourt. Try to hound Iowa State ball handlers. Take the Cyclones out of their rhythm on the offensive end and keep the basketball out of Emily Ryan's hands.
Jones. Another step back and another 3.
21 first half points for Ashley Jones. Wow. 6 of 8 from the field, 5 of 7 from downtown.
And a rebound again for Ashley.
What a first half.
You know, she makes it look effortless, but you come to Hilton Coliseum as you see Emily Ryan drive and finish here. 2 hours before a game, Ashley Jones is the only one in the arena taking jump shots from all the way around, getting her shots and just relentless worker. We've all known that, but not letting up on the gas and trying to put in the work and the effort.
Ashley Jones is a woman of few words. I don't know that there's a place where she would rather be than in a basketball arena, or maybe not even arena, just where she has a hoop, maybe where she has a rebounder, can get up as many shots as possible.
4-second difference between the shot and game clock. Suarez had it rattle off. Columbia's got to hurry to get a shot off. Henderson from half court. Won't go, and Iowa State, again, shooting the ball really, really well. About 59% from the field. They've got 8 3-pointers. Led by Ashley Jones's 21. They lead at 55-31 here at the half. 5:31, and we're ready to go with the Cyclones to have the ball to begin the second half. Again, with Molly Barrett, I'm BJ Shaban here from Hilton Coliseum. In this Big 12 Ivy League matchup, Suarez will attack the paint. Fritz will clean it up. Ryan faked and then shoots and buries.
Oh, what a great pass fake. Completely gets Columbia to flinch when she looks as though she's going to continue to swing the ball to the opposite side of the arc, but instead moves the defense, gives herself a wide open look.
Ryan now with 9. Henderson in the paint, lost it for a second, now is tied up by Fritz. Columbia will hold the possession here with 10 on the shot clock.
Stephanie Suarez gets a hand on that pass, just disrupting that offensive set for Columbia just enough. Goofs up the rhythm a little bit.
Kitty Henderson inside. This is going to be kicked out. Last touch by Iowa State. 8 on the shot clock now. Columbia will look to inbound with Shue. Suarez got a piece of it, but it goes down to the Lions. Shue for 3. What a shot.
Does not need a lot of daylight. You give her daylight at all, she is likely to knock it down. Only a junior for Columbia, so lots of opportunity to continue to move up their career three-point ranks as well.
Donarski for 3. Left it short, and the rebound to Columbia. Henderson will hand off to Shue, but had a little extra movement there to try to clear it out for Shue. Did Henderson. Kitty will pick up her second. Beg your pardon, make that her third foul.
Stephanie Suarez being defended by the much smaller Abby Shue, and Lexi Donarski not able to enter the pass.
Pratt got the steal, but couldn't capitalize it off of Jada Patrick's fingertips and out of bounds. Well, you had mentioned it earlier. Interesting scenario. The extra year that Ashley Jones is playing in right now, but for Columbia, a number of these student athletes actually had to de-enroll at Columbia due to an Ivy League rule that you can't be a graduate player or have that extra 5th year. So they had to de-enroll and find something else to do for a year.
The Ivy League did not play any sports in that 2021 season, so that was a choice that some players were able to make. And talking to Coach Megan Griffith, 5 players de-enrolled. They all had full-time jobs. I believe they were all in New York City. And for 3 of them, it has turned into full-time job opportunities and offers. So when they're done at Columbia, they have 5 seniors on this team. Several are already in very good positions professionally to move on to whatever is next. So it's just so interesting how different leagues, different regions of the country, different institutions, of course, COVID was handled differently. And so fun to see and just interesting how different student athletes took advantage of the rules and the opportunities presented to them. So as a result, you have teams like these with several players that are 22, 23. It's just an interesting situation the way this has all worked out the last few years.
Patrick's shot deflected, and she'll draw contact and will go to the line to shoot 2. Yeah, you see it in the bios that they de-enrolled her, like, wait a second, you're going to Columbia,
yeah,
an Ivy League school.
Yeah, yeah.
But commitment to the program too as well. A lot of them could have transferred out.
Oh, absolutely. Could have transferred to leagues where they were playing, and shows the commitment they have to Coach Griffith and the belief they have in her vision for this program. And certainly she has done a remarkable job there and intends on continuing to build it. As we said, she's an alum. She's from the Philly area, so family's close, and they have high expectations for what they want to build. So kudos to those players who stuck around and hung in there with the program.
Jones with a solid entry off of the fingertips of Suarez as she was being fronted on the play by Lauder. A 25-point lead here for Iowa State, largest at 26. See the turnovers, where they're at today. Pratt in the paint, has it taken away by Suarez. Out ahead to Donarski.
I like to see 6'6" diving on the floor for the loose ball. What an effort play for number 10.
Columbia back down the other way. Shue pump fakes, but had a slide step. No Euro here.
Shuffled her feet just a little bit when 6'6" Suarez was heading her direction.
This will stay with Iowa State. Mentioned the road ahead for the Cyclones. Traveling out to the West Coast, Portland, Oregon for the Phil-Knight Invitational. Michigan State matchup coming up on the 24th, and North Carolina and Oregon. For Columbia, those road travels continue too as well as they get ready for the Ivy League. And going back to the line is going to be Jada Patrick. In fact, after today, on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, they're taking on Arkansas Pine Bluff and part of a tournament with Miami and North Carolina A&T, which is the Miami Thanksgiving tournament. Heard of worse places than Portland and Miami to go visit over Thanksgiving.
I think the weather will be just a tad bit nicer for the Lions down in Miami. That will be the going home game for junior Abby Shue. Have a couple players on the roster from the state of Florida.
A terrific story about Abby Shue in Parkland, Florida. That free throw rolls off, no good. And Morgan Kane, who gets her first minutes here in the second half, into the contest. Looking to drive it as Jones can't get it to fall. And the rebound to Columbia. Henderson out ahead to Patrick. Now Pratt. Iowa State a little cold. Kane trying to change it, and she does.
Columbia trying to find some other scorers on the day when Caitlin Davis has spent quite a bit of time on the bench and a little bit of foul trouble, leading scorer on the season with 5 points. Now the good news for Columbia, this is typically a well-balanced team. They don't get a lot of bench production, but all 5 in their starting lineup averaging in double figures, so need some other players to step up and score some points on a tougher day for Davis.
Kane in the paint. Tough move. Morgan Kane last year started 30 games, averaging just under 9 per contest so far this season. And looking sharp on the block on that latest offensive play. And how about the three? Back down on this one. Back-to-back threes now for Columbia as Paige Lauder knocks that one down. Columbia with 10 makes from the perimeter. Kane again on the block. Left hand, strong hand, gets it to go through.
As you mentioned, Morgan Kane started most games for Iowa State a year ago, and of course with Stephanie Suarez joining the Iowa State lineup, she moved into that starting position. Love to still see Morgan Kane playing a very important role. Iowa State will still need those big contributions from her.
She's got 6. Iowa State leads it as we've got a timeout on the floor. For Columbia, Sienna Durr, hometown of Grinnell, Iowa. Of course, had a fantastic high school career, 4A Player of the Year in 2018, and Won a state championship or two in track and field as well.
Yeah, she was a long jumper for the Grinnell Tigers. Always nice when players who go to other parts of the country can come back. Iowa high school girls basketball so strong. Women's basketball in the state of Iowa, clearly very strong. Drake, UNI, Iowa State. So fun that a player like Sienna, who took a leap and went to a different part of the country, nice to see her be able to come home and play against a lot of fans from the Grinnell area. So wish her best for the rest of the season.
Got some minutes in the first half. Here in the second, Iowa State cooling off shooting a little bit. They're at 40%. And Columbia also has cooled off too as well. The Lions for the game just right at about 38%, but turnover starting to bug them here in the later half. Donarski with the kick out to Ryan. And she stepped on the far sideline.
Cyclones just not quite efficient on the offensive end as they were in the first half. Now, certainly it's hard to match 59% shooting from and only 2 turnovers in the first half of basketball, but credit to Columbia and throwing some different things at Iowa State on the defensive end.
Lauder able to can another one. Iowa State in the game against Northern Iowa the other night had a 13-point lead late in that contest as Ashley Jones gets the answer.
Yeah, so Cyclones certainly pressured on the road. They were, like you mentioned, in a pretty comfortable position in the driver's seat toward the end of that game. UNI made a heck of a comeback, ended up taking the lead on a couple of occasions. Cyclones then had to come from behind, ended up getting a gutty win. But when in doubt, get the ball to Ashley Jones.
Emily Ryan knew it, another dime for her. As she started walking back towards the backcourt once Jones released.
Talk about confidence in your teammate when you start retreating to the defensive end.
7 assists for Emily Ryan. Suarez with the kick out and a 3-second violation called against Stephanie Suarez. And the Cyclones will turn it over.
Columbia crowding the middle a little bit more that possession. Throwing an additional blue jersey at Stephanie Suarez. She did a great job of kicking it out initially, just wasn't able to get outside the lane to avoid that 3-second call.
Chu along the baseline, the fade. Ryan to Jones and a foul on Lauder. And right away on the inbounds, Iowa State able to capitalize. Suarez with the bucket. Columbia with a quick shot. Last touch by the Lions. So this goes back to Iowa State. Take a look at this inbounds play. 6-6, going to work.
Columbia, just not a lot you can do in that situation. Once she's camped out in the lane, they only go as tall as 6'1" for the Lions.
Inside,
nice.
Ashley Jones got a great feed.
Well, the first half we saw more of Ashley Jones on the perimeter. Stephanie Suarez more time in the painted area, but they flip-flopped a little bit here in the second half, and that last possession is a great look at the high-low action. What a luxury to have a 6'6" player who can shoot it from 3 but can also throw a nice interior pass from the top of the lane.
That foul going to be on Rivera. Rivera going to pick up her first. Going to fight through the screen here. Iowa State in the bonus here in the third. Ryan now in double figures. now with 11. And Maggie Espen-Miller-McGraw will come into the game. She'll check in for Donarski. So a 30-point lead, the largest of the game here for Iowa State. Against a Columbia squad that is picked to finish second in the Ivy League. Shu, tough jumper again, buries it.
Man, she can really score. Only player for Columbia scoring in double figures today. That's a dozen for her. 5 of 9 from the field.
Ryan got the clearance, finds Suarez, and pads the stats with the offensive putback.
Just found herself a little too far under the basket on the first attempt.
Shu with the crossover and will lay it up and in from the opposite side. Espen-Miller-McGraw can't get it to fall. Back the other way. This is Jada Patrick. Rebound picked up by Dew. And she's going to be called for a travel.
She maybe drug that pivot foot a little bit. Good hustle play.
Nymir will check out. Danae Fritz back in. With 1:09 to play here in the third quarter. Inside to Shu will be fouled by Fritz. You think about how dominant this Iowa State senior class, the upperclassmen that they have, going to get a lot better too as well through graduation. Of course, they're Bill Fennelly this week landed 3 top 60 recruits, top 10 recruiting class, 5 in all. Signed letters of intent this week. Ashu able to knock down the free throw.
Columbia with a little more pressure defense. Haven't seen them do too much of this in this game, trying to disrupt Iowa State's flow on the offensive end. But Emily Ryan now in her 3rd season. Maturity-wise, to see her grow so much over the last few years. Of course, I say that, and she turns the basketball over for the first time today.
Shu now with 17 in the game. Clearly leading the way here for Columbia. Iowa State paced by Ashley Jones is 28. Here's Espen-Miller-McGraw able to bury the 3.
First bucket of the year for Maggie Espen-Miller-McGraw. Has been plagued by injuries these last couple of years. Nice to see her get in the scoring column.
About a 2-second difference between the shot and game clock here. Rivera going to hold for 1. Iowa State setting up in what appears to be a zone. They identify Shu right away. Shu for 3. Left it short. And the rebound to Iowa State. They won't be able to get a shot off before the end of the third quarter. Iowa State led by as many as 30. Columbia able to trim it down a little bit. It's a 28-point advantage as we head to the 4th when we return. Here for Ashley Jones leading the way. 28 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists as well. As you take a look at the Wooden Award preseason top 50, got 2 Cyclones. Yeah, on that list, Lexi Donarski, Ashley Jones, the others from the Big 12, Blackwell, Gonzalez, Harmon. Of course, Oklahoma with a pair on that list too as well. Jones in the paint, going to be fouled and will go to the line looking to hit 30 for the day.
Effective use of that pivot foot, a hallmark of Ashley Jones, and the way she can really fill it up. That graphic about Big 12 players on the Wooden Award list. Another very talented batch of student athletes in the Big 12 Conference. Always one of the best leagues in the nation for women's basketball. All 10 teams playing today on the women's side.
Able to make both, and of course, you know, there's been a few surprises. so far. Oklahoma the other night giving up over 100 points to Utah team. As that rebound is deflected, belongs to Columbia. Rivera to the corner to Patrick. Kane going to be fouled by Lauder. Columbia picking up the foul. Lauder with her second.
Lauder giving Columbia some good minutes today, but nice box out there by Morgan Kane.
How about Texas, too, in the non-conference slate, too? Of course, they've had a very difficult schedule, dropping a game the other night to UConn and then one here recently.
Lost to Marquette yesterday.
And the three knocked down by Jones.
If you're looking to catch more women's basketball today, maybe from the comfort of your family room. A couple of battles. Number 1 South Carolina will face off against number 2 Stanford. I believe that's a 2 o'clock tip. Also at 2 o'clock, Maryland and Baylor, both ranked in the top 20. So a couple of good opportunities to see high-level women's basketball at the conclusion of this game.
Drive and a foul going to be called here on Iowa State. Emily Ryan will pick up the foul. Columbia back to their bench as Henderson and Davis will check back in. Rivera and Pratt out. See the fouls, how they've mounted throughout the day. Lauder to the line. Boy, that South Carolina-Stanford game, must-see TV for sure. Makes it even more interesting about where it's being played at on the road, as the Gamecocks, their game just travels everywhere.
Yep. Dawn Staley is not afraid of anyone or any place or anything, so she would say bring it. Same with Tara. 2 legends in the women's game.
Kane caught up, will give it away to Donarski. Lexi has a block, but drew contact and will go to the line to shoot 2. Amir Dew will come back into the game. She'll check in for Espen Miller-McGraw. Donarski, who's shooting the ball really well, came into the game averaging over 14 and still 100% on the line. Now with 6 in the contest. Drawn the assignment of Shu. And an epic battle here this afternoon between the two.
Lexi Donarski, one of the best defenders in the country, last year's Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year.
This one deflected away from behind. And it will belong to Iowa State. 26 on the shot clock. And back to work. The top, that's Jones. Just missed it. Rebound deflected out. Jones will pick it up. Over to Kane. And Iowa State will hold the possession. See, the crowd loves the effort.
Several players on the floor for Iowa State. Some nice floor burns.
Dew from the corner. One might have been partially deflected. And Columbia up with the rebound. And that three buried from the top by Davis. With Kane right in her grill. Lead trimmed down to 31. Now Ryan on the drive. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. Interesting, as you pointed it out earlier, Columbia, a team that you know, they're not going to try to slow it down, salt the clock away, really want to try to get after you. And today it's benefited Iowa State. Okay, a team wants to run, and where you see the score where it's at as you take a look at Ashley Jones, maybe done for the day with 33 points. With 6:47 to play.
This Iowa State team has a lot of offensive firepower. Certainly Ashley Jones is often the one at the top of the scoring chart for the team, but a lot of weapons for the Cyclones. They want to get out and run. They want to push and transition. Now, there have been years for fans who have been around this program. There have been years when Coach Finley has taken the air out of the basketball and has needed to employ a slower pace, and it really relied on a more of a defensive strategy. But so many weapons on this current team. They can run and run and run, and that's the style that they're hoping other teams will be happy to play along with.
Well, looks like we had a substitution that was supposed to happen. It didn't happen because Izzy Zingaro was trying to check into the scores table. And she just walked out onto the court, and Morgan Kane was walking off, so we had a stoppage in play here.
Whoops.
So, Izzy getting into the game now officially.
It's kind of like when a toddler's at a game and they accidentally run on the floor.
Right.
Not knowing that they shouldn't do that. And
a foul underneath. Espen Miller-McGraw was pushed. That's going to be the 5th team foul on Columbia. Sienna Durr will pick up the foul. That's her first. So back down to the other end for some free throws as Iowa State is in the bonus the rest of the way. .6:33 to play. Free throw off. You had mentioned Espen Miller-McGraw getting her first points of the season with a 3 earlier. The senior final campaign, and what a career she's had here at Iowa State, has gone through a lot, injuries included. Foul underneath as Columbia will head to the line. Jada Patrick will go there.
Jada Patrick, 5 points, bit of a tough shooting night on 1 of 9. Good looking athlete for this Columbia squad, just hasn't been able to get things to go her way today on the offensive end.
So Patrick off on the free throw.
Columbia struggling at the free throw line tonight, or excuse me, this afternoon. 6 of 13 as a team, make that 7 of 14.
Iowa State by 32, and you know, some days, you know, when you look at Sundays, they're made for football, but we're getting a lot of big-time contact on the floor right now. That time Zingaro called for the roll as her and Davis collided.
Davis comes up limping a little bit. I think she's okay, just maybe a little bit of a hard fall.
They'll go to Davis in the paint. Tries to hit Durr on the backdoor cut, but Sienna's left foot was on the baseline, so Columbia will turn it over.
Sienna Durr was the Rookie of the Year in the Ivy League Conference her freshman season. In fact, for all of the greater New York area, there's about 20 schools and like kind of a consortium. She was the Rookie of the Year for that as well.
Donarski to Fritz. Shot clock winding down. Someone like Donarski will take it. Just missed it. Didn't touch rim, so it's a shot clock violation.
So when Emily Ryan is not in the game, who's the floor general for this team? We've talked about how she's such a great communicator, coach on the floor, extension of the coach, all of those things. She does really well. So on a night where if she happens to run into foul trouble or things of that nature, this coaching staff trying to figure out who's next up, probably Lexi Donarski.
And she fills that role as she finds Izzy for the quick bucket.
Lexi Donarski, Emily Ryan, clearly the two leaders of this team. Ashley Jones, the big scorer, of course, but we mentioned not a real talkative young woman. It's Emily Donarski, Emily Ryan, Lexi Donarski, definitely the two more verbal leaders for this team.
Jantavia Dawkins, a freshman from Ontario, Canada, checking in for the first time today. So Donarski out there running the point. Dawkins for three. Can't get it to fall. Back down to the other end. Here's Shue. The step back. Oh, Steph Curry. Patented that move. And Shue showing how to do it.
20 points. 3 of 5 from deep.
Dawkins with the kick out to do. Nymir puts it on the floor. Now to Espen Miller-McGraw, and a travel will be called on Iowa State. So that'll bring us to a timeout on the floor. 91-60. Iowa State rolling along on a Sunday afternoon. ESPN family of networks. And of course, back home against Southern Illinois, and big matchup with Iowa coming up on the 7th, which will be shown on ESPN2.
Iowa State men's and women's teams will actually travel together out to Portland. That's not something that happens very often, but both teams playing in those very competitive Nike tournaments out west. It's a good opportunity for fans to go out and see both teams play.
This one tied up, possession arrow in favor of Columbia. An interesting few days coming up for Iowa State on the road. You get to learn a little bit more about your team as you see the 3 knocked down by Kitty Henderson. That's actually the 11th three-pointer made today by the Lions.
For the Cyclones, this entire week is fall break, Thanksgiving break for Iowa State students. So probably some studying and work that needs to be done on the road, but we'll have a little bit more free time, a couple days off in between their 2 games.
We have a difference in the shot clock.
Perhaps the shot clock didn't start as soon as it was supposed to. There they go, get it down to 26.
That allows Columbia to go back to their bench. Nicole Stevens will check back in. Out on the floor for Columbia, it's Rafui, Davis, Henderson, Stevens, and Shue. Espen Miller-McGraw on the drive, and a foul going to be called on Caitlin Davis. So Maggie will head back to the line again. Iowa State on the floor. How about Mary Kate King?
Well, we showed that great feature of Mary Kate receiving a scholarship for this season. Coach Finley announced it at practice recently. Always fun to see a walk-on student athlete who comes to Iowa State because they want to be a student, want to be part of a great program. She's an Iowa kid, went to Dubuque-Wahlert High School, so nice to see her recognized with that. And certainly the financial piece, but also I think just the acknowledgement that you matter and that you're an important piece of the puzzle.
Shue's 3 and count it. She'll go to the line for a 4-point play. Shue not letting up. She's got 23.
She's certainly showing off her shooting prowess today. She is very fun to watch, very skilled, does a lot of things really well. Smooth player from Parkland, Florida.
Season high 24 for Shue, and she'll exit stage left as Sienna Durr will come back into the game. So on the floor for Iowa State, it's King, along with Dew, Dawkins, Espin, Miller-McGraw, and Zingaro, and Columbia creating all sorts of havoc in backcourt.
This Iowa State team, some reserves on the floor, need to get a little bit organized for that full court pressure defense.
Anderson to Lauder. To the corner. Stevens able to bury the three. Down to a 23-point lead for Iowa State. Largest lead was at 34 for the Cyclones. And the rebound to Durr. Going to be picked up by Dew. Rebounding numbers, Iowa State with the advantage there of 13. Espin, Miller-McGraw to Izzy Zingaro. Boy, and what a power move to get the bucket. Good ball movement, the three by Stevens.
Well, this Columbia team is shooting it well from beyond the arc. 17 of 38 today. Actually shooting a better percentage than the Cyclones from deep.
So the timeout taken here by Columbia. We'll take one with them. 95-73 your score. Iowa State with the advantage with 2:09 to play when we return. Iowa State 95-73 over Columbia. Here's what head coach Megan Griffith and the Lions have ahead for their schedule. Of course, playing in the Miami Thanksgiving tournament. Of course, when they play on November 27th, could be on the ACC network. Then a home date against Marist, Lafayette, and then they travel to Stony Brook. So they work their way through December. Now, when they get into Ivy League, interesting quirk in the schedule. Play multiple games on the road, but they actually have a 5-game homestand. End of January, early February. Included in that homestand is Princeton, who's the league's top pick. Looking to drive it. And Dew with the rebound. Going to be tied up and fouled on the play, and will come down to the other end to shoot free throws.
A lot of basketball to be played for both of these teams in the remainder of November and then December. Ivy League play and Big 12 play for these respective squads starts on New Year's Eve, Saturday, December 31st. It will be here before we know it. I know it sounds funny saying that since it's about 6 weeks from now, but it always kind of sneaks up on us. Cyclones will travel to Lubbock for a game at Texas Tech. The Lions will head to Yale.
Dew able to hit both. She's got 4. Well, the Lions have been jacking threes today. In fact, they've made 17, which is a new school record for threes in a game. Leading the way is Shu with 23 points. And how about Sienna Durr? Let's add to that total. Now at 18 for the team.
Interestingly enough, Columbia is shooting it better from beyond the arc than they are from 2-point range, 46% from downtown. Cyclones not needing to rely on that 3 ball as much, especially in this second half. Shooting 43% on the game on 12 makes.
3 from the corner, deflected. And a rebound, Zingaro. We mentioned for Columbia, Page checking in for the first time. Lobin also checking in. Joined by Rafu, and then Durr and Stevenson. That's who's playing for Columbia right now. Iowa State still with King, Dawkins, Dew, Zingaro, and Espin Miller-McGraw, who has the ball right now.
Maggie Espin Miller-McGraw, the type of player who can really play 1 through 3, 1 through 4, wherever this team needs her. In this lineup, being called upon to play the point guard.
And counted, and an opportunity to hit the century mark as Izzy Zingaro will go to the line.
Cyclones scored 104 against Winona State in an exhibition. But other than that, highest point total for the Cyclones this season, 88. They were at a 120-point pace, I think, after the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
55 at the half. 3-ball launched off the mark. Durr with the rebound, the kick out. Durr with the rebound, the putback not there. Siena will kick it back out. Looking to drive it, Stevens had it taken away by Espen Miller-McGraw. The shot clock is off, so Iowa State looking to just pause and hold here and are going to take a 99-76 win to the bank and go to 4-0 for the second straight year and the 13th time that Bill Fennelly has had a team start at 4-0. What a game here for Iowa State. Well, for Molly Parrott, I'm BJ Shaven saying so long from Hilton Coliseum, where the final score is Iowa State 99, Columbia 76. All games airing on ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.